called me and said, "Tomorrow is your sister's birthday party. Make sure you help prepare." I said, "I can't, this isn't the time." She replied, "If you don't come, I'll cut you off." I hung up and deleted her number. On the day of the party, my son woke up and said, "Mom, I got hurt because Grandma." Update 2. It was an ordinary Saturday morning, the kind that promised nothing more eventful than laundry, grocery shopping, and maybe a movie night. Tyler bounded into the kitchen, vibrating with excitement about riding bikes with his friends. The weather was perfect, clear blue skies, and the first real warmth of spring after a long Connecticut winter. "Can I go to the bike trail with Jake and Marcus? Jake's dad is taking us. They'll pick me up in 30 minutes. Tyler asked, already halfway through a bowl of cereal. I glanced up from my coffee and grocery list. "Helmet and phone?" I asked. "Our standard safety check." "Yes, and yes," he replied, rolling his eyes with the particular exasperation only preteens can perfect. "I'm not a little kid anymore, Mom." I smiled, ruffling his hair as he ducked away. "Humor your overprotective mother. Be back by 4. "Okay, we need to shop for your science project supplies." "Deal." He finished his breakfast in record time, then darted off to get ready, all gangly limbs and boundless energy. I watched him pedal away with his friends from our apartment window, waving when he looked back. It was the last moment of our old life, though I didn't know it then. The call came at 11:27, an unfamiliar number, a woman's voice asking if I was Tyler Williams' mother. The world narrowed to a pinpoint as she explained there had been an accident. A car had swerved onto the bike trail. Tyler was being transported to Hartford Memorial, critical condition. I don't remember driving to the hospital. I must have locked the apartment, found my keys, navigated traffic. But my next clear memory is running through automatic doors into the emergency department, gasping Tyler's name to the receptionist. "He's already been taken to surgery," she told me gently. "Let me page someone to update you." The surgical liaison who met me had kind eyes above her mask. She guided me to a private consultation room, and explained in careful terms that seemed to come from very far away. Tyler had suffered severe head trauma, a broken femur, broken ribs, and internal bleeding. The neurosurgeon was working to relieve pressure on his brain. The orthopedic team would address his other injuries once he was stabilized. It would be several hours before they knew more. "Is he going to die?" I asked, my voice not sounding like my own. She didn't offer false reassurance. "He's very seriously injured. The next 24 hours are critical, but he's young, and was healthy before the accident. That's in his favor." She left me with paperwork to fill out, medical history questions swimming before my eyes. I called my father, barely coherent through my tears. He promised to come right away. Then I sat in the surgical waiting room, surrounded by other anxious families, and did the only thing I could do. I waited. Tyler was in surgery for 6 hours. 6 hours of pacing, crying silently, praying to a God I wasn't sure I still believed in after losing David. 6 hours of bargaining, promising anything if only my son would live. When the surgeon finally appeared, his face was grave. The operation had stopped the bleeding in Tyler's brain, but significant swelling remained. They'd placed him in a medically induced coma to give his brain time to heal. He was being transferred to the pediatric intensive care unit. I could see him soon, but I needed to prepare myself. There would be tubes, machines, bandages. He wouldn't look like the boy who had ridden away that morning. "The next 48 hours will tell us a lot," the doctor said. "I wish I could give you certainties, Miss Williams, but head injuries are unpredictable. We just have to wait and see." My father arrived just as they were settling Tyler in the ICU. He wrapped his arms around me, and I broke down completely, sobbing against his shoulder like I hadn't done since I was a child. "It's okay, Morgan," he whispered. "You're not alone." When we were finally allowed in to see Tyler, the shock nearly brought me to my knees. My vibrant, energetic son lay motionless amid a tangle of tubes and wires. His head was partially shaved and bandaged. A ventilator breathed for him. Monitors beeped steadily, the only indication that he was still with us. His face, what I could see of it, was swollen and bruised beyond recognition. I approached his bedside cautiously, afraid to disturb any of the equipment keeping him alive. The nurse, Susan, gently guided me to the chair beside him. "You can touch his hand," she said. "Talk to him." Many coma patients can hear even if they can't respond, so I took his small hand in mine, careful of the IV line, and began to talk. I told him about the robot kit waiting for him at home. I reminisced about the Halloween when he insisted on being an engineer astronaut like his dad wanted to be. I promised him trips to every science museum in the country once he recovered. I kept talking even when my throat was raw, afraid that if I stopped, some tenuous connection between us might be lost. Dad stayed until evening, then reluctantly left to update my mother, who hadn't bothered to come. "She's organizing some church function," he explained apologetically. "She sends her prayers." I nodded, too exhausted to feel the hurt that would come later. That first night established the pattern of the next 3 days. I refused to leave Tyler's side, except for the briefest bathroom breaks. The ICU staff brought me blankets for the reclining chair, offered to arrange a cot in the family room, but I couldn't bear to be away from him. Every beep of the monitors, Every slight change in his condition sent my heart racing. What if he woke up confused and afraid without me there? What if he took a turn for the worse, and I wasn't by his side? The doctors made their rounds, adjusting medications, checking reflexes, explaining test results in terms I struggled to comprehend through my fog of fear and exhaustion. The nurses became my lifeline, explaining what the doctors had said in simpler terms, showing me how to interpret the monitors, bringing me coffee and occasionally gentle pressure to eat something. Jake's parents came, bringing my laptop and some clothes from my apartment. Jake himself stood in the doorway, pale and shaken, unable to look directly at Tyler. "It's not your fault," I told him, though neither of us believed it yet. My co-workers organized a meal train, dropping off containers of food I barely touched. Tyler's science teacher brought a card signed by his entire class. David's parents called from Arizona, offering to fly out immediately. I asked them to wait until we had more news, not wanting them to face the same agonizing uncertainty I was living through. Now you can watch the third part by pressing share and more.